Hey everybody, and welcome back to another video. So let's have an open conversation, because I get this question quite frequent, whether it's somebody messaging me or somebody asking in the community group. And it's I used to shrug it off and be like, oh, and then I got to the point where it bothered me. And now I'm at the point where sometimes I get frustrated. Now you're probably sitting there being like, Jess, what on earth are you talking about? And what I'm talking about is how I feel about my abusers walking free and just going about their lives, living normal lives, like nothing is wrong. Like they just got off scot-free. They got away with everything. And I was left broken and frustrated and hurt and angry and suffering. And the answer to that is it's not an easy answer. Most things I talk about on here don't have an easy answer. And for that, I apologize, but I'm not here to sugarcoat anything. And the thing is, for me, it's a roller coaster of emotions. It's a lot of ups and downs and kind of just frustration. Yeah, it pisses me off that they can go about their lives and they can have children and have jobs and act like everything is okay. And that's just, I don't want to say unfair. I just want to say that, nobody holds them accountable for their actions. It's kind of like, they got away with it once, so what's stopping them from doing it again type of thing. And God forbid they do this to somebody else. And I really, really hope that they don't. And I just get so frustrated sometimes because, I have worked through my trauma. I have, coped with it. I'm not running from it. I kind of ran into it and through it. But it's just like sometimes it catches me and I get so frustrated and angry. For example, when I make a mistake or somebody gets angry at me because I make a mistake, before I used to, kind of deal with it, be like, okay, well, whatever. And I used to be able to shrug it off. Now I can't, because it's just this weird thing. First I go into defense mode. Like I'm prepared for somebody to like attack me type of thing, right? And then I get into kind of like the comfort zone, because when they, lecture me or, whisper words in a way that, they want me to hear, but they don't want me to hear at the same time. And it's just like, oh, well, I'm used to being called names and, just being a fuck up. And then I just get quiet and I get sad because I get frustrated, because it's just like, well, why am I letting this bother me? And I lose sleep over it, and it's just so frustrating. And I wish I didn't feel this way, I wish I didn't feel like I have to have this defense mechanism, and then I'm afraid that somebody's going to attack me, or I wish I could have a, a relationship that I didn't bring damaged bags and all this stuff in it. I wish I wasn't so this. And, I know some people are going to take it as, oh, I'm beating myself up. Oh, I'm putting too much pressure on myself. But the truth is, this is just how I feel sometimes. Not all the time. Just sometimes. And yeah, maybe I am too hard on myself. But in the same way, like, I know things are going to affect me. And it frustrates me to no end that, like, I wish it didn't, And, it frustrates me that I can't be in large groups. I can't, walk through a mall or be in a grocery store without looking for all the exits and, checking the faces, because I don't want to run into one of my abusers and have them talk crap or smile at me or act like they did nothing wrong. I'm worried about that. Like, I'm honestly worried that one day when I'm out, I'll run into one of them and, I'll be with my family and stuff, and I worry about if they will say anything or, have that fake smile on of like, oh, you know what I can do. But have that face of like, oh, I'm a perfect angel, because everybody saw them as that. Nobody held them accountable for the actions. They got away with so much crap. And it was almost like everybody was telling them that their behavior was fine. The drugs and the drinking and the beatings and the cruel things that they used to say and the degrading things that they used to do to me in front of teachers and other people, and they got no punishment at all. I was the one that told that it was my fault to shut up about it, to, change my story, to just make peace, just give them what they want. Give my abusers what they want and you'll be treated okay. Like, who does that? Who says that? And, that's stuff that you hear in movies or TV shows, and you just want to jump through the screen and punch those characters out. But that was my life. And now, years later, I'm still dealing with the trauma that I went through. Not that I'm running from it, but it just comes with the territory of everything that I went through. And it's just frustrating, to constantly just go over every detail of your life, and you try so hard not to be a screw up, to do everything perfectly, and then, I make one mistake and it's just like this whole, thing is spiraled out of control, or like I wasn't good enough in the situation, I had to be better, and it's just exhausting to compete with yourself all the time, of like trying to outplay yourself, which sounds weird and crazy. And, for the longest time, I stopped doing that. And then I found myself recently doing that again, just falling into bad habits, comfortable bad habits, if that makes sense. Because nobody was there to I don't know. I've been kind of spiraling a little bit for a few months. A big event triggered it all, and, that's fine. I am working through it. I am aware of it, and it's not like, I'm drinking heavily or doing drugs. I'm not. I'm just putting a lot of pressure on myself to be this better person, to be a better version of myself, to constantly compete with myself. And when you fuck up or make a mistake or you're not good enough, I put so much pressure on myself, and the PTSD starts to kick in, and it's just a smile just a smear of a mess, and it's not easy to deal with, because it's it's not that I don't have a problem talking about it. Obviously I don't. I don't want to come on here and sound like this unrational, crazy person. That I don't think through my words and whatnot. And truth is, I've been sitting on this for a while, so I have been, processing it and stuff. And I just get really frustrated sometimes, that I have to go through life with trauma. And yeah, I'm dealing with it and stuff. And, the triggers suck like royally. But, I have to work through them. I have to be okay for myself. I want to be okay for myself. I'm not trying to prove anything to anybody. But at the same time I do, which is weird. But, ow, I'm old. Competing with yourself sucks royally. It does. It's not a fun thing, especially when you have that pressure of constantly, that you're not allowed to mess up, or you have to be your best all the time. And if you're not, well, there's just, and it's just not that I'm mad at anybody, because people make mistakes, and some people, or you're not good enough, and those other people, they talk shit, or they say stuff behind your back out of frustration and in the moment, and then they just flip a switch and everything is okay. And it's just like, oh, that didn't happen. Just shrug it off your shoulders. Everything's fine. And it's not fine sometimes, And I wish I could just easily shrug things off my shoulders. And I know I feel deeply. I feel and connect deeply. And, sometimes I take things a little too personally. And again, I don't mean to. That's just part of the trauma and the pressure and the anxiety, and then the depression takes hold, and it's like this whole constant maneuver. And I feel like a lot of people don't have an open conversation about this. I mean, there's groups out there, and people do all these TED Talks or whatever, and they come out with all these like, oh, you have to eat healthy and work out, and then it's just like, you connect with somebody and you're like, okay, whatever, they're trying to help me. And then it's like, oh, it kind of reminds me of yourself, right? So you're like, okay, well, you connect with this person. And next minute, they're doing half-naked videos of workouts, and you're just like, well, fuck. I do not look like that, and I probably never will. Just my genetics. That's not me being a douchebag to myself. That's just facts. It's genetics. I will never have a six-pack. Nor do I want one. But it's just like, and then they start preaching, well, if you work out and eat healthy, everything's going to be fine. All your troubles will go away. And it's just like, well, I once related to you. I don't relate to you anymore. And you just get so frustrated because they have a chip on their shoulder now. And like, that just frustrates me too. It's like, how can somebody go from being so humble and so down to earth to somebody that's on the high horse that doesn't want to get off and thinks people are below them, type of thing. And like, if you don't look a certain way or talk a certain way, you're like, well, I'm gonna look down on you now. And it's just like, whoa, okay. You went to 0 to 700 real quick and you don't want to, come back down. And, that just sets off like, okay, well, great. And it's like they just shove all this shit in your face, like working out and eating healthy and, medication's bad for you. And it's like, I don't know. Society is fucked. That's all I gotta say. It's like they put all this pressure on you, and it's just a lot to compete with, right? For people out there, and it's just frustrating. I know I kind of went off on a rant there, but just to bring it back, it's like, my abusers are out there walking free, all have kids, and, I'm left surviving, and doing the best I can with the tools I have. And it's frustrating some days. Like, I have to admit, it is honestly frustrating, and you just want to throw something or punch a wall and just, kind of surrender. But guys, this is gonna sound like bullshit, but here it is. You're not alone. Honestly, you're not alone. If you ever feel like this, you're not alone. And I know a lot of people say that, like, oh, we're here for you, we have your back and whatever. They don't. It's false words. They're not there. They put it on for Instagram and Twitter and Facebook, and they have all these posters and posts and, oh, I'm here for you and blah blah blah, and it's just horseshit because they don't follow through on it. They just get on their high horse and then they just don't follow through. And I never want to become one of those people. If I do, please slap me or tell me, because I get really uncomfortable around those people and those situations. And I never want to change that. I never want to change being uncomfortable around those people, because the fact is, I have spent a long time going through all my shit. And again, not every day is rainbows and butterflies and everything is like, oh, you worked through your trauma, so you're fine. Like, no. Bitch, no. Like, it is not fine. Yes, there are some great, fantastic days when you can laugh and genuinely laugh. Like, you can feel in your soul that you're happy. And then it can switch just like that. And you can feel like you're in this dark pit. And you're crawling to get up and clawing at these walls that just never want to end. It just feels like you're drowning. And then you can be great another day, This whole thing of, this one-stop thing where makes everything okay, this button you just press and everything is okay, it's just bullshit. It is honestly bullshit, and it is not talked about enough. And, I always come on here and I say, guys, I honestly, from the bottom of my heart, I don't know what you're going through. I don't. And I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I do, because that's just bullshit. But I am willing to listen. I am willing to learn. I am willing to try to understand. I will probably never understand fully what you're going through, but I am willing to sit down and listen and try to learn and understand and just be there for you. And again, most people will probably not believe that because we have been told that so many times and then nothing becomes of it. I honestly hope that I have the opportunity to prove myself to you guys, that just because you're having a bad day doesn't mean the world is going to end. That just because you're having a bad day, that you're a bad person, that you're not allowed to feel that, because that's bullshit. You are allowed to have bad days. You're allowed to feel like shit. And you're also allowed to be happy and laughing and outgoing and sitting on your couch alone or in your bed alone. You know, you're allowed to feel those things and go through those steps. And that doesn't make you crazy or insane. It makes you human. It makes you you. And good days and bad days and everything in between, it's you. And you're loved for it. You know, I might not ever meet you, and those that I do, I'm thankful that I can. But the truth is, I might not meet most of you ever. I hope one day, you know, I can, but the truth is that might not happen. But the truth is also I'm here for you, you know, message me, reach out to me. I'm here in the capacity that I can be for you. Whether sadly it's through a screen, on the phone with you, or in person, I am here for you. And I'm willing to listen and learn and just be there for you. So I guess I will stop there because, you know, talked a lot there. Anyways, guys, I hope you are going to have a fantastic week. A lot of changes are coming from me, so stay tuned for that and strap on in for this journey. And like I said last video, there's a lot of videos planned and in line and set up and ready to go. I just thought I'd come on here and just let you guys know that it is okay to have a bad day. Anyways, guys, remember, never give up. Always keep fighting. You're enough and you're very much loved. Until the next video, sending all my love to you guys.